Welcome to Lesson 11, Testing PhoneGap apps on a device using PhoneGap Build. In this lesson, we're going to teach you how to make a PhoneGap Build account, upload an app to your PhoneGap Build account, and then download the app onto your device for testing. But before we do anything, let's start out by explaining the difference between PhoneGap and PhoneGap Build. PhoneGap is a mobile application development framework which is a distribution of Apache Cordova. PhoneGap allows you to write an app once using HTML, CSS and JavaScript and then deploy it to a range of different mobile platforms and devices without losing the features of a native app. PhoneGap Build is a cloud-based service which is built on top of the PhoneGap framework. It allows you to easily build your apps in the cloud and then deploy them onto a device for testing. Once you upload an app to PhoneGap Build, it can automatically build iOS, Android and Windows Phone versions of the app. After this, you can then easily download versions for both Android and Windows Phone by scanning a QR code that PhoneGap Build creates for your app. This makes it easy to install the app onto your device. We will not be showing you this process for Windows Phone or for iOS, although the process for Windows Phone is basically the same. Because the process for Windows Phone is basically the same as Android, you wouldn't have too much trouble to get a Windows Phone version working. The price of the developer programs for Windows Phone and Android are also quite similar, with Windows Phone charging $19 US and Android charging $25 US. These are one-time fees on both platforms. To test on iOS, you would need to sign up for the Apple Developer Program, which costs $99 US per year. Aside from this, all iOS builds need to be signed by a developer certificate and a provisioning profile, which are tied to your Apple developer account and to the device you wish to test on. The combined developer certificate and provisioning profile are used as a key for your app on PhoneGap Build, which once added, allows your app to be downloaded. You would also need a Mac to be able to configure your certificate and provisioning profile. Because of these requirements needed to test the app on an iOS device, this lesson will be aimed specifically at testing an app on an Android device. This lesson will cover the following sections. Section 1 will be creating a PhoneGap Build account and uploading the app, and Section 2 will be building, downloading and then installing the app onto your device for testing. In previous lessons, we've done a lot of work to get our app to this point. And in the last lesson, we added some JavaScript code to our application to ensure that the web button on our feature pages opens in the system browser. And we also added some JavaScript for our header so that we don't have to write the header code for each page in the app. Now it's time to put the application onto a device to test and see if all of our hard work has paid off. Before we start working on this lesson, if you really want to get an iOS version of the app working on your device, check out these video examples showing you how to create an iOS provisioning profile and certificate for your app and upload them to PhoneGap Build. You should see these 3 video links displayed on the screen now. If you want to follow these up, pause the video and copy them down. The rest of the process is basically the same as what we will cover in the rest of the lesson. Okay, now we're ready to begin the lesson. Once this lesson is complete and the app is installed on your device, it should look exactly as displayed on the screen now. Section 1. Creating a PhoneGap Build account and uploading the app. Before we create or sign into our PhoneGap Build account, we're going to create a zipped up folder of our jQuery mobile application. So navigate to where the app is located on your computer and then right click on the restaurant app folder. Navigate down to the Send To option and then select Compressed Zipped Folder. Click that and it should create a zipped up folder of your application in the same place that the restaurant app folder is located. To use PhoneGap Build, you're required to have an Adobe account. So if you already have one, you can probably skip these next few steps, otherwise follow along. There are 3 different plans available to use with PhoneGap Build, and they are a free plan, a paid plan, and an Adobe Creative Cloud membership plan. Each of these 3 plans allow you to have unlimited open source apps, although these apps have to be hosted on GitHub. The free plan allows you to have one private app, which has a max size of 50 megabytes. The paid plan allows you to have 25 private apps, which have a max size of 100 megabytes each, and the Adobe Creative Cloud membership plan allows you to have 25 private apps, which have a max size of 1 gigabyte each. All 3 of the plans allow you to have core Cordova plugins and also third-party plugins. Although the free plan doesn't allow you to have upload plugins, the other 2 do. And all 3 of them allow you to have unlimited collaborators. Obviously the free plan is completely free, where the paid plan starts at $9.99 per month, and the Adobe Creative Cloud membership plan is included with your Adobe paid cloud membership if you have one. For this lesson, we'll be using the free plan. But if you already have a paid Adobe Creative Cloud membership, you can choose to sign in with that if you wish. If you haven't already, open a browser and go to https://build.phonegap.com. Once you arrive at PhoneGap's start page, either click Get Started or Sign Up. After clicking either of those options, it will take you to the Choose Your Plan page. As I said before, we'll be using the completely free plan, but if you already have a paid Adobe Creative Cloud membership, you can just sign in with your Adobe ID. So I'll click the completely free button. That will take you to a page where you can sign in with your Adobe ID if you already have one. If you don't already have an Adobe ID, click on the link to get an Adobe ID. That will take you to a page where you can enter your first and last name, email address, and enter a password. Then sign up to create an Adobe ID and also a PhoneGap Build account at the same time. I already have an ID, so I'll just sign into mine. And there we have it. After you've signed in, you'll be hit with a welcome page. This welcome page has a couple of tabs, an open source tab and also a private tab. Ensure that you have the private tab selected. You'll also see that you can paste a Git repo and pull from a Git repository. You can also connect to your GitHub account. We won't be covering any of this in this lesson. To the right of that, you'll see a button which allows you to upload a zip file. Click that button and then navigate to where the zipped up folder of our app is located. Select the zipped up folder and open it. That will start the uploading of your file. Once the file is finished uploading, you should see a page which displays the app's name along with some other app details. That's the end of this section. Next, we're going to actually let PhoneGap build the app for us and then download and install it on a device. Section 2. Building, downloading and then installing the app on your device for testing. We're now ready to build our application. PhoneGap Build automatically builds and packages our app for 3 different platforms, which are iOS, Android and Windows Phone. As mentioned at the beginning of the lesson, we will not be covering how to do this for iOS or Windows Phone specifically, although the process is quite similar. For this to work on iOS, you need to have a key which is created on a Mac computer using an iOS developer account. Aside from requiring slightly more work to implement, the Apple developer program costs $99 a year. So we're just going to be showing you how to do this on the Android platform. Starting where we left off in the last section, make sure you're in the Apps section of your PhoneGap Build account. The page should display your app's name and details, along with a few checkboxes to the left, which are Enable Debugging and Enable Hydration. To the right are Delete and Ready to Build buttons. Click Ready to Build. It might take a minute to build, but once it's complete, you should see a similar page showing your app's name and details again. But to the left, you also see iOS, Android and Windows Phone buttons. If you're wondering why the iOS button is in red, it's because you can't download or use the iOS build until you have added an iOS distribution certificate to the application. Clicking either of the other two buttons will download the app's install files for either Android or Windows Phone. Under the platform buttons are Update Code and Rebuild All buttons. If you wanted to upload a new or updated version of the app, you do it by selecting Update Code. Rebuild All rebuilds the current version of the app again for each platform. To the right of the screen, you'll notice a decent sized QR code. Using this QR code is the easiest way to get the app install file onto your phone. All you need to do is scan the QR code with a QR code reading app, and it will give you a link to download the app onto your phone. The app's name, Restaurant App, is actually a link which takes you to another page which has similar details about the app. So click the Restaurant App text. This new page has some more detailed information and has a few different tabs, which are Builds, Plugins, Collaborators and Settings. The Builds tab, which is the current tab, has similar stuff to the previous page, but lets you add keys for your app, and also has a log which contains information on the latest build, and it also lets you download the app and rebuild for each platform other than iOS. You'll notice that the iOS button is coloured red, with error written on it. This is because the iOS version requires a key before you can download the app to test it on a device. Scanning the QR code on an Apple device will also not download the iOS version. The Plugins tab lists the app's current plugins. If you go there, you'll see the whitelist plugin that we added in a previous lesson. The Collaborators tab allows you to add collaborators for the app if you are working with a team or someone else. The Settings tab lets you upload the source code again. It also allows you to enable the following. Debugging. This is a mode that lets you monitor the app while it's running to possibly diagnose any problems that it might have. Hydration. This improves compilation times and allows application updates to be pushed directly to the device. You can also disable the app from being private or allow it to be shared publicly. If you make changes to any of these checkboxes, you need to click the Save button. This will save any of the changes that you've made. There's also a Delete This App button, which obviously completely deletes your app. This is handy if you ever want to start fresh. Moving on now. If you haven't already got one, install a QR code reading app onto your Android device. You can find one of these on Google Play. Once you have a QR code reading app installed on your device, you need to open it up and scan the QR code on the screen. This will give you a link which you will need to open in the system browser on your device. Opening the link should begin the app file download, but you may need to select your device browser as the app to download it with. If for some reason you can't use a QR code app to scan and download the app install file onto your device, you can navigate to the Builds tab, and in the Android section you can click the APK button. This will download the .apk file of our application. After this download is finished, you will just need to transfer that file onto your device. After the download is finished, you need to ensure that your phone allows the installation of apps from unknown sources. This setting can be found in the security settings section of your device, and it should be just simply a checkbox that you need to change. Once your device is allowed to install apps from unknown sources, find the restaurant app-debug.apk file that you downloaded earlier and tap on it. After selecting it, you should see a screen with an option to cancel or install. Select Install. When the installation is complete, a new screen will give you a second choice of Done or Open. Select Open. Congratulations! The app should now be working on your device. Test the app and check to make sure everything is working as it should be. You can also try installing the app on a different Android device if you want to. This can help to uncover problems, particularly on different versions of the Android operating system. That's it for this lesson. Next, we'll prepare our app to upload to the store.